hi, welcome on in to Adobe Live. My name is Anika and this is Let's InDesign. Thank you so much for being here. Today we're doing something really amazing. We're learning DataMerge in InDesign, and I don't know about you, but it really automates a lot of processes for me. I'm really excited to get started and jump into DataMerge. But before we dive into it, I do want to say that we had a very fun stream from Claudia right before me. So if you missed out, make sure to subscribe to the Adobe Live YouTube channel. Make sure to tap the link that is in the chat if you are watching live both on Behance and on YouTube. And let me know if you can see and hear me okay. That is always a thing with live streaming. So if there are any issues, please be kind. Let me know in the chat. And let me also know whether or not you've used data merge before. Data merge is very exciting. Data merge can help you create multiple versions of your document by merging a comma separated value or a spreadsheet right into your InDesign document, and then you can export a PDF out of it. So you don't need to use the repeated task over and over again to create one business card for a company of 100 people, right? It's amazing. I know people in chat are really excited about that. So why don't we go ahead to the chat and say hello to everyone? Hey, hi, welcome on in, everyone. I say hi to Stony. Hi, Joshua, Bliss, Garrett. I see Jack in the chat. Hey, Jack. Cody, welcome on in. Susan, Oliver, save your work, everyone. Yes. I know Jack in the chat just mentioned data merge is great for business cards. And yes, we are creating business cards today. So I'm really excited. Susan says, just started learning it and never used before. Yay for learning new things. Awesome. I love that some of you all have not used data merge before, so this is an exciting opportunity to show variation. The stream layout is going to go in a way that will focus on how to compare and contrast if you would use data merge and if you would not. So first I'll start with creating documents where I'm not going to use data merge, and then I'll show you how quickly you can automate stuff while you're using it. All right, let's dive into it. Let's get started. Before we jump into InDesign, I'm really excited to be sharing that I'm speaking at Max this year. If you go to my Instagram, which is just ANIKAAGG, you will find links to my Max talks, and you can just jump into it and sign up for yours. I have this right over here as well. I'm speaking both using Express and InDesign, so it's exciting two sessions. I'm really excited to share this with you all, and I'd be really honored if just go there and ask me questions. There will be a live chat then as well. So yeah, you can ask me any. I also want to mention that we have Cody in the chat, and Cody is doing Beartober, this Spooktober. So if you are striving to find inspiration, or if you want to find prompts but not do Inktober, I just want to highlight Cody's prompt list here, and you can just go and work. She's been doing some amazing work. I just wanted to bring it up because I saw it right before stream. So yeah, any of you all looking for inspiration, go ahead and follow Cody Bear on Instagram and look at all the prompts that she's been creating. All right, without further ado, why don't we jump into InDesign? See what's up. So this is InDesign's Learn tab. Let me know if you've ever been on InDesign's Learn tab, because it's InDesign is definitely very overwhelming sometimes, and a lot of people just don't open it. Or like, oh, InDesign, it's intimidating for me. But over here, nothing's intimidating. We're gonna start with learning the basics and then move into the advanced stuff. We have the new document panel right here, and I want to say that I want to create something for print, and these are business cards. For the sake of our tutorial, I am going to be using the preset that we have here. So we have the preset a US business card, which is what I'm going to use today. I'm going to change the units to inches right over here. And I do have pages. I'm going to turn off facing pages for this one just because I don't want that. I'm not creating a book, so that's not necessary for me. And I see a lot of friends joining in the chat as well. So don't forget to say hi if you're joining live. I know Steve is here, Storm, Robert. Did I see Robert? I'm not sure if I saw Robert. Caroline, hi, welcome on in. Thank you so much. This is amazing. Storm, hi, welcome on in. All right, let's get started and show you lovelies how to make business cards. I'm sure you guys have made business cards before. So I'm gonna use 0.25 inches of margins here, and I think I just want to keep the bleed to 0.25 as well for now. I can preview it right over here, and this is how it looks like. I don't need the bleed because I'm not gonna have anything in here that's going to touch to the edge of the business card. So let's just go ahead and create just for our purposes. I'm going to shut this down just so you can see. So this is what we have. We have two pages in our InDesign document, and this is how the business card looks like. It is blank. Why don't we go ahead and get started and create some paragraph styles? So we can create like a name, a last name, a title, some website versions. All right. This is our layer panel. We have some information here. This is our properties. So you go to the text tool right here, the type tool, and I'm gonna hit create a name. And of course, it is my name, but I can change that to anything. So think of DataMerge as like a placeholder. When you create something with DataMerge, you usually use comma separated values, which is nothing but a spreadsheet. So if I go to my spreadsheet, what I want here is essentially I want to give input to InDesign where InDesign will know what I'm talking about, right? So this is my first name. And if I have a spreadsheet with a list of first names, I can bring that into InDesign and make stuff out of it. So first of all, let's go ahead and create our target document, which is this InDesign document, which is what we're going to start with. So I'm going to create this document, which is going to include all the paragraph styles. So I'm just going to select something. Let's actually go ahead to fonts.adobe.com. Let's see what fonts there are. I have been using like a very sans serif font lately, and I just feel like I should use something else now. So I'm gonna go to all fonts real quick and see what we have. We have Tony in the chat. Hey Tony, Tony Hammer in the chat. Tony's asking me to save, and I should probably do that because you know what? When you create something new in InDesign, it doesn't automatically save for you. You can give it a name, but you should probably save. That is definitely a good idea. Thank you, Tony. This is probably the first time someone's asked me to save, so it had to be you. All right, so we have this guy here, but I am gonna go to my Adobe fonts and find something sans serif. I think I want like a clean font for our business. All right, there are I if you've never been here before, you should probably know this about me that I am a font freak, if that's a term. I just download fonts left, right, and center. I'm a font hoarder. Let me know if you're a font. Okay, I do like this one. The good thing about Adobe fonts is that you can essentially go over here and see how it's working. Oh, that is not. Let's see. Yeah, okay, cool. I think this is all right. Um Here, what's happening? Okay, cool. It should be good now. So this is a font that we have, and you can also try it in Adobe Express. I think I will activate this font family. I will also go ahead and go back to my InDesign and make like variations of it just to see how it looks. And I'm gonna go to my character panel and select my regular, which is my favorite. I'm gonna go to bold and see how that looks. Um, all right, and change the size of it, maybe like 60 points. I'm gonna change the type text area over here and see how that looks. I mean, I do like the styling, the stylization of this serif, sans serif. I do want to change it to the one that we just activated, which is articulate. So I can go here and type in. So if you enable or activate any Adobe fonts, it's gonna activate it in for all the applications you're using. So I'm gonna go ahead and select this one. I think I really do like this one as well. So let's actually go ahead, change the size as well. This doesn't need to be so much. 24 is fine. I'm gonna change the same for this one as well. Make it like 24 points. Um, yeah, I think these look good. Which one do you like? I don't know. I think I like this one more just because I'm so partial to it. I just always use it. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete this one. Still use regular because I'm just partial to it. Double click it and it's gonna size it down to the area or it frame it down. And if you press Command B on your keyboard, you can see all the text frame options. You can change these. I will get into auto sizing when we go into data merge, but for now, let's just keep it simple and let's just keep it with the basics. So we have this here. I'm going to copy it. I just press Option, Shift, and drag, and that's how I can copy the things here. Um, it has my name right here, and I'm going to bring it here. I'm going to make it create L. That is my name. All right. I think these are looking cool. I'm just setting up a layout for where my name's gonna go. and maybe there's something which is like a tagline. So I'm just going to say, or maybe like a designation. So we're going to have designation right here. I am going to size it down. Maybe I'll just use the same. You know why I love like regular? It's because you have so many font weights in it, and I can just like change how my look like how my type looks, because and introduce hierarchy in it. So I'm just gonna use probably like a regular. Yeah, I think that looks good. And then I'm gonna change it to 14. Or maybe even smaller. We can go 12. I think this looks good. And with designation or like a title, you can say there are people who have multiple titles, and I'm one of them. So I go by graphic designer and illustrator, or maybe live streamer. So you can have as many titles as you want here. So I think this is looking kind of nice. We have stuff here. Okay. Now there are other things that you can introduce in your designs as well. So with like taglines and like one liners, you can introduce a QR code as well. So maybe I want like a circular shape. Maybe I'll just get an ellipse frame tool and hold shift here and add a tagline. So I just went, okay, I did that really fast. So I'm gonna go ahead, this is my frame tool right here. I right clicked on it to see all my options here. So you have the rectangular frame, the ellipse frame, the polygon. I'm gonna click the ellipse and hold shift to click out and drag it, and this is what we have. I do want to create like a type on a path, so I went to type tool, right click it and click type on a path, and clicked here. um Sorry, the path is ellipse. Mix that up. You can also create a frame, but you need a shape to type on a path, right? Wow, live streaming. But you click on type on a path, you click on this guy, and then you can write whatever you want. So I have a tagline right here. So this is my tagline. I do want to change the font to it. And if you've noticed that I have not created any paragraph styles, because I just want to lay everything out first and then we create paragraph styles. And one thing to remember that I actually learned from Tony Homer is, who is also in the chat, that don't ever base your paragraph styles. I think I repeated this last time as well. But don't ever base your paragraph styles onto the basic paragraph style for your InDesign, because it may be different from the person you're sharing your files with, which is typically your printer. And you may have set it to a different default font, and your printer may have it to Minion Pro, for example, right? So don't ever base any paragraph style on the basic paragraph style. There you go. Kudos to Tony Homer for that tip. I am gonna go to tagline here, and then I'm gonna change the font again. So I'm gonna click into it. And then maybe I'll use like a different regular version. I have regular um light. I think I'll use that, and then maybe like a smaller font. So like 9. Yeah, I think this font points is okay. And then maybe we need like a website here as well, right? So I'm gonna bring this up really quickly, and we have this guy. I'm just gonna copy paste this and call it web. Okay. Um I see Cody in the chat says she loves Adobe fonts. It's so fast to activate fonts. Yeah, and Penny says, I like the samples on Adobe fonts and the font packs. Yeah, if you do not know, you can go to font packs here and it's going to activate some samples for you. So you have tons and tons of font packs to activate, and you can just like use anything you want here. You can use a center, it's a soft pop, in the groove, all of these fun packs if you wanted. All right, let's go here and check. Okay, cool. Alrighty, let's go back to InDesign and make something real quick. Okay, so we have this. I'm not really sold on the layout for this, but we're gonna work it into our design. I do want to make like a background, so it's good that we have a bleed here. I don't need a parent page here, so I'm just gonna click and drag this rectangular frame out. I do want to change the color, so I'm gonna go to fill and select like black, and then I'm gonna hit Command Option and left bracket to send it to back, and now nothing is visible just because everything we selected was black in color. So I'm gonna go ahead and select it to the paper color, and then we have this guy. We can change these colors now, and I'm gonna go ahead and change this in just a second. So we have this. I'm just selecting colors and changing all of it. We have this here. Now, a good way to get colors in your design is actually using Creative Cloud libraries. So if you already have a library with your color palette, it's super easy. You can just go to Window and CC Libraries. Click on, that's not what I wanted. Click on CC Libraries, and you can go ahead and use your library. So this is actually my library, and I have some colors for my branding. and I can go ahead and add these swatches or just use these in my design, and that will directly add these swatches into InDesign. So I'm gonna go ahead and maybe use the here. Okay, that looks pretty cool. I feel like that is a great way to bring in your brand colors into your designs as well. So I feel like this is good. It like this is I'm using the brand colors without using my logo, so I feel like this is pretty cool. Okay. All right. I think I'm happy with the kind of the design that we have here, and I'm gonna quickly go into my fill color and show you that this was the color that we just added, and it got automatically added to my swatches. I didn't have to go to my CC libraries and add it to my swatches like we have to do in Illustrator. Just a variation from how that works. Okay, now this is page one, and I want to create the back of it. So maybe I'll create something here. And I feel like with the pandemic, there has been like a change and shift in culture in how you scan menu cards, for example. You always are scanning QR codes. So why don't we go ahead and create a QR code? And for those of you who have used InDesign before, you know what I'm talking about. You know you can generate QR codes, but let's dive into it and let's create a QR code. So very basics. I'm just gonna drag out a rectangular frame here and then square by holding shift and constraining the height and the width. And I'm gonna go back up. I now want to make like a paragraph style for it just because I feel like the placement of this is fine. And remember, once you create a paragraph style, you can go back and change all of it. So why don't we go ahead, create a new paragraph style. I'm gonna call it white header. Header underscore color white. Color white here, and then I'm gonna call this guy header underscore color green. Okay, so I think this works. And then we have, oh, that did not change the color. Hit escape by error. I'm gonna call it green right here, and then hit escape. Okay, and now if I go here and change it to header color white, it's gonna change the style to that. So if I change the sizing of it, it's going to change it to the paragraph style that I just created. I do not want that. I want this to be a title. So I'm going to call it title, and hit enter. I don't want to change anything right now, but I can change the hyphenation and how everything works. And this, I'm just going to call this website, right here. And then I'm going to go here and call this tagline. So I'm going to click here and call tagline. I'm going to show you how the paragraph style options look and show you how that works. Okay. That working? That is working. Okay, cool. So let's go here and maybe add something here as well. So I'm going to copy this tagline. Okay. So we have this here, and definitely you can't see anything because it is white on white. So I'm going to go in here and select everything and change the color to black. And I'm going to create a copy of this and bring it down. I don't know, maybe something like this. We're just playing around with our style here, but we will see what we like. Okay. And this is how it looks now. We have our bleed here. This is our margin. So everything inside will print nicely. I'm gonna maybe bring this to the side here and then bring this to the side here. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna hit save, and now we have like a layout for our business card. What do you do next? Well, now you create what kind of data source file you make, right? So I'm going to go to my untitled spreadsheet right here and bring in some data. We need we need names for our design. So I'm going to hit something really quickly and find something that I can use. So I'm going to call it title one because these are all the fields that I entered into my business card. So I'm just going to go here and enter. Okay, give me a second. Typing. And over here, I think it was a website. Yeah. And we have Monica in the chat. Hey, Monica. Hi, welcome on in. Sorry, we're just creating some spreadsheets here on our InDesign stream. Did you expect that? I don't know. But let me go ahead and copy some fields right here because I think we have some information here that I can use. So I'm gonna hit paste, and we have some information here about our lovely friends who are some of them in the chat. We have Ryan's not in the chat, but we have Jack in the chat. We have Cody in the chat. Wade is not in the chat right now, but I'm sure these people will appreciate being in my business card list. But yeah, I totally spelled that wrong. Sorry about that. But oh, again. Okay, there you go. So I have this list of people that I want to create the business cards for, and we all work in an agency, right? So we all want the similar styles for our business cards and same design, but we also want our names on it. We don't want someone else's name on my business card, right? So I just created this spreadsheet right here. I'm going to name it to our business card designs. So we have business card Adobe Live. I'm just going to save it that. And it's necessary to have this first record or a row which contains what information you're populating. You're essentially replacing this information, right? And we had, if I go back to my InDesign file, we have our first name here. I'm actually going to call it first, and I'm going to call this one last name. And we have title 1 and 2, we have the website, the tagline, and we also have the taglines here. Maybe I should call this like a one liner because I just said, hey, let's grab a donut, or let's Conti crayon for Cody. But let's go ahead here and save it. Okay. So this is how it looks. And when I have the spreadsheet right here, it's going to essentially tell InDesign that, hey, if you see first name, replace it with this. If you see first name again, replace it with this. So it's super easy for InDesign to learn. Now that we have done our step 2, which was creating the data source file, why don't we go ahead and save it out and export, like bring this into InDesign and see how that works. Before we actually do that, I said we will contrast and create something that is manual before we get into automating our processes. So why don't we do that really quickly? So if I had to do this manually, I would just go in here and write in everyone's name. So I would go here and then I would go back here, one stop branding solution. I would say one stop branding solution. And this was really cumbersome. Had I had like 200 people in my design firm, would I do this by hand all the time? That is really cumbersome. I do not want that. So I'm sure nobody wants that. So basically, what we're trying to do is ease this process of like typing everything manually. And this is really cumbersome. Very like I'm just wasting resources by doing this by hand. And if I had to do this automatically, how would I do it? So this was example 1. And had I done this manually, I could have just created a parent page. So I can go to my pages panel right here and I can essentially copy all of this content. So I'm going to select everything, press Command C, and then go to my parent page and press Shift Option Command V, use all of your fingers and paste it in place. And this is how it would look. And now this is like a parent page that I've created. I can just go in here. This is already applied to it. Let me create a new parent. Quick. I'm going to create a B parent and then I'm going to paste it here. So that's not automatically applied to the default pages that I have. Shift Option Command B, and now we have this here. So if I have this parent page here, that is one way to have all of this information in your pages, right? So I can just go in here, add a new page, and then I can apply parent page B here, and then I can override the parent page elements and do it over and over again for every single business card that I have to print out. So you would do that by Shift Command and click, and then I would say Ryan, and then Shift Command click, and then I would say his last name, and then I would go on creating a new page. I'm sorry, I didn't want to do that. I would go on creating a new page and then applying the same B parent here, and then I'm going to go back in here and write Cody's name. So that is essentially how you would do it manually, but still using the parent pages in InDesign. But that's not what we want to do. So I am going to go ahead and delete these 2 pages right here because we don't want that. I'm going to delete these. I'm going to go in here, delete the B parent page because we don't want that either. And I'm going to go back into my design here again. Now, where does the spreadsheet come in? How do we save the data source file? Now, you have this data source file, which is our business card. I'm going to go to file. You can do this either with an Excel spreadsheet or even your Google spreadsheets. So I go to file, click on download, and you want to save it as a comma separated values. This is because InDesign reads it as a comma separated value that you can use within DataMerge. So I can go to download and click on comma separated values. And here is the file, right? I can look at it and see how that looks. If I open it, it's going to open up the the text file here. And I can see how that looks. Now, this is the Excel sheet that opened up by default. I'm going to hit close to that. I'm going to bring it into InDesign. Now, the next step is essentially using the DataMerge panel and selecting the data source file. So why don't we go ahead to Window, go to Utilities and add DataMerge. This is how you find it. If you can't see it on your panel anywhere because I am on a customized workspace, you can go to Window, Utilities and DataMerge. So this is how it works. And it's so cool that InDesign actually lets you read everything about data merge. And so I'm going to go back in here and it's going to show you how it's done. So you can, it says choose data source from the panel menu, which is what we're going to do. We are going to select the data source using the merge panel now. So this hamburger menu right here lets you click and select all the comma separated values that you just created. So I'm going to click here and select the data source, which is essentially my downloads tab. It was called business cards. Yes. I'm trying to see what it was called. I'm trying to find it. Give me a second. Is this it? This is it. Okay. So we have this business card file right here. I'm going to click open and it just populates all the values in the columns that we had in the first row, which is first name, last name, tagline, title, title one, two, and website and one liner. I can show it to you right here in this case, which is all of these values, right? But how do we populate that here in our InDesign document? So we have this text field. What I want to do is populate this text area with my first name, populate this text area with my last name, title 1, title 2, and website. Super easy. You click this text area and click on this guy, and you see immediately that it's been attached to one text field, right? We have this, and I'm going to call it last name. We have this guy. I'm going to call it, actually, I'm going to enter this first name, last name, and then I'm going to go here, call it title 1 because that's what we want. And can you see that this is inserting this column name right here, which essentially means that this is what we're going to input. So this is essentially going to be replaced by all the values in that column. So we have title 2 here, and then we have the website. I'm just clicking it all, selecting it, and then I'm selecting this, and this is the tagline. I believe that was the tagline. Yeah, I'm going to select the tagline right here, and then we have the one liner. So maybe I'll select all of this and tag it to this. Let me know if you want me to do this over again and I can show you how it's done. I know this is kind of fast, but I can go over it again if you. Cody just sent in a very cool link about DataMerge, so make sure to click on that if you want to read more in your own time. So I am gonna make it slightly bigger because I want it fit everything that we have. I am going to make it slightly bigger. This is where your text frame options come in. So you can press Command B to get your text frame options. You can go to auto size. By default, auto sizing is turned off, but you can go ahead and create height only, width only, or height and width and keep proportions. You can see how it's going to auto size when there's text added on the fly or dynamically. So maybe I wanted to start from the left and like expand towards the right. Let's do that, and I'm gonna preview that and click OK. I think this works. I'm gonna did you see what happened there? It just expanded it into the text area that we have. So this is how it looks now with the auto sizing off. I'm gonna press Command B again and go to auto sizing and press height and width because I want to keep proportions, and then I'm gonna select the reference point. And as and when I change these reference points, that's that's changing how my text frame works. So I can click on this and click OK. I think this works really well. All right, now without further ado, do you want to see the magic? Do you want to see the magic happens? Let's go ahead. We just inserted our fields from the data merge panel into our target document, which is our design document. But now we're going to go ahead and preview the records to make sure that we can actually see what was in our spreadsheet, right? So I'm going to hit preview and wait for it. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Let's see it. All right. So why don't we go ahead and click preview, and ta-da! We have brilliant stuff here. What? This just populated everything? How is this possible? Of course, this is kind of weird because I did not use the auto sizing here, but everything else works brilliantly. I mean, isn't that amazing? Now you must be wondering that this just worked for one person. Where are all the other records? We had so many. We had Ryan, Jack, Cody, Wade. Where are they? So why don't we go ahead and find where they are? You can go and browse to the new record right here. And if I click next, what? Is your mind blown already? Is it blown? Do you like this? Are you gonna use this? I don't know. This is amazing. I'm in love. All right. So I'm gonna hit undo a bunch of times because I wanna add like a text frame option here. But let me know if you've ever used this, and I don't know. This is just beautiful. I'm gonna go auto sizing here, and then I'm gonna change this. When I first learned about this, I loved it. Like it blew my mind. Like I did not know that you could do this, and you can actually do this in all of Illustrator, Photoshop, Oh, I did something wrong there. You can do this in Illustrator. If you've never used variables before, you can use variables in Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign. And I love how you can do this. And I love that the chat is so hyped about it and everyone's so excited. We have Caroline saying Adobe Cadabra. Sony says I'm ready. And show us the magic. Nice. Wow. Some mind blown emojis in chat. I love it. Okay. So now I hit preview again. And here we have it. We have some amazing things happening here. And I did not go here, but you can actually go here. Oh, I made a typing error there. It's supposed to be let's Conti Crayon for Cody. But I have let's grab a coffee. Ryan has let's grab a pin because puppet pins. And this is let's grab a donut because Jack Watson. And then we have let's Conti Crayon because Cody Bear. Okay, so I love that we did this. But how about the fact that we want a QR code in the center? How do we get that? So now let's segue into adding images using data merge. So now I'm going to show you how to make data merge documents and have images on a design. Like, have you ever wondered how wouldn't it be amazing to create lanyard designs or photo IDs with data merge? Because you would just give it like a set of images and then you can just click on done and that's it. But let's go ahead and actually create a merge document to see how you would print it. Like, I can just scroll it here, but why don't we go ahead and create a merge document before we dive into adding images? I'm going to click this merge document and click here. I'm going to go into all records, single record. We want all records because we want all of these as printouts. So I'm going to click here. There are multiple options here that you can use. You can either export just the first two pages or you can export a range of pages. You have the records per page as well. All of these document generate overset text report is important just to see if there are any errors in your document. We have the multiple record layout and options as well. If there are images, you can change how your image is placed in the. For now, we're just going to keep it simple and set it to default and click OK. Now, InDesign does all the work for you. And since I had it selected, that report generation point selected, we have this saying and telling us that, oh, there are no errors. Your document was perfect. So why don't we see how many business cards we just created? I'm going to see what happened here. There are some issues here that we need with the alignment, but we can fix that in post. We have some stuff here. We have Ryan in here. We have back of this card. We have Jack Watson in here. We have Cody Bear in here. We have Wade Acuff, who's also in the chat now. Hi, Wade. Welcome on in. We're just creating business cards for you all. I mean, I'm just casually here creating business cards using DataMerge. I love that Caroline says, love this time saving at its best. Absolutely, yes. Penny says, would help with multiple employees with the same first name, alexbusinesscard.ind. Absolutely, yes, that is a great use case. We have Richard in the chat saying this feature will be really useful with invoicing. Well, you know what, Richard, we're going to cover invoicing today. So you're just in time for that. Okay, so this is our merge document, and you can go ahead and export your file here and send it and package it. So if you want to send it to your printers, you can package it and send these files with the links and images. Now you can also export it as a PDF and send it to your printer wherever you want. And we're going to get into that in just a second. And now I'm going to go in here and maybe add like a QR code, right? Because we need QR codes in here. We need QR codes. And also, weird, now that you're here, do you have a tagline I can use? Anything fun? We have Jeffersons. Hi, Jeffersons. Welcome on in. Thanks for joining us. And a reminder to everyone who's just joining us, we were making business cards in InDesign, and we just used DataMerge to create this beautiful, beautiful design. We did not have to do anything by default or by hand. We just showed you how to create DataMerge. So if you missed all of that, go ahead and watch the replay if you're just listening. But if you have any questions for me, make sure to pop them in the live chat. All right, why don't we add QR codes now? I don't know if you all know, but I want to show you how to add a QR code. I'm going to go in here and create a new file. I'm just going to leave it as default because I just want to show you how QR codes work. I'm going to create a rectangular frame here. And maybe actually I'll just create a rectangular frame here and grab a link. So why don't we grab Cody's link here, and I'm going to copy this. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. Actually, I'm going to grab this link because I want you all to go here. Professional drawist, yes, that is brilliant. I will update the sheet. So if you have this rectangular frame, how do I generate a QR code within InDesign? I'm gonna hit right click onto this rectangular frame, and right over here, beautiful option, generate QR code. You just have to click on that. Like, did you know this is a one click option? You can generate QR codes in InDesign. Now, you can change the type of text you use to generate the QR code. It can either be a link, it can be text, it can be a text message, it just has an SMS2 option, it can be an email, mail to, it can be a business card. So, all of these, right? I'm just gonna click here and use web hyperlink and use Cody's Instagram page so that you guys are directed to the prompt list, the Bear over prompt list, and there you go. That is your QR code. What? How? Now, if you scan this from your phone, I'm going to show you right now how that works because I'm just so pumped about this. So, I have my phone right here, and I'm going to scan it from my phone, okay? And I'm going to show you how this looks. I'm going to scan it real quick. And it is literally redirecting me to Instagram right here, and that is how it works. So, if you want to go ahead and add a QR code, why don't we scan this and see how that works? Richard says, how about templating? So we could use alternative databases and, for example, to only generate a division within a department or company. That is an amazing use case as well. Yes. So if you have like a sister company or an umbrella company within your bigger firm, you can use DataMerge with that as well and use one kind of design for a, like, let's say it's your color is blue and the other part of the company has orange as the base color to identify what you're doing. This is a great way to do that. But why don't we go ahead and change our uh, tagline here? Okay, so let's go ahead and let's generate. Now, let's generate QR codes with DataMerge. Are you ready? Are you ready for that? I don't know. I don't think you guys are ready. I don't think even all of you who've already used DataMerge know how to randomly, dynamically generate, not randomly, dynamically generate QR codes within DataMerge. Okay, let's actually, I don't know what to write this. Where to write this? Where to over. Sorry, I'm just doing this on the fly. Sorry. Redo. Yes, redo. Okay, hold on. This is taking so long. This is what happens when you're typing everything, right? Okay, so we have all of these links. I don't have Wade's website, for example, but that's okay. So now for QR codes, there are two ways to add images. You can either use the QR codes that you have already generated, exported as a PNG, but that's a very long workaround. Or you can go to Adobe Express. I can easily go to express.adobe.com right here and click on the plus button, click on generate QR code, write the link here, and then I can create QR code, save it out as a PNG, save it in a file. I don't want to do that. I want to create everything on the fly. Why should I waste my time doing it? You have to write hashtag or the pound symbol here, call it whatever field you want, and then write in the link that you want to generate the QR code for. This is essentially going to be the same link here. So I'm going to go in here and I actually want to have Wade's website as well. So I'm going to go to Wade Acuff and finds Wade's website here. I'm going to add this here and I'm going to add this here. Okay. So we have everything now. And I don't know if you noticed, Wade, but your one liner is table side guac, please. All right. So now our sheet is complete. Okay. This is our sheet and you are not ready for it. The only difference here between all the fields that we added in the column name was the hashtag that we inserted, and that essentially signifies and tells InDesign that this is a QR code that you want to generate for dynamically. So I'm going to hit save, and then I actually pressed Command S here, but I'm going to save a comma separated values for it again. And this is what I'm going to use DataMerge for again in InDesign. So going back to InDesign, this is when I'm adding QR codes and I'm making them dynamically generate. So I'm going to go ahead here, select data source, and I am going to click OK, and then I'm going to create the file that I am using. All right. So we have this file here, and I'm going to hit open. Now, this also has this QR code. Can you see how magically, just by using the pound symbol, it generates a QR code right here? And since I have a rectangular frame, I can just assign it to this QR code. So let's just assign the values here. This is this is already attached. So this is already attached. This is attached. This is attached. All of it is attached because I just use the same file. And this thing doesn't have a QR code, but once I click onto this, I'm going to say that this is where the QR code goes. Now, wait for it. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? You've never generated QR codes dynamically, have you? Let's go back. Let's show you how it's done. I'm going to hit preview. Are you all ready? What? Isn't this different? And it's changing for everyone. It's changing. What? Tableside guac, please. Yes, please. If you go here, you will get tableside guac. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and scan this QR code and get all the tableside guac you want. But yeah, this is how you can generate QR codes dynamically. I love that you can do this. This is amazing. It just blew my mind. But that's how you can create business cards with DataMerge, and these are just different ways that you can generate QR codes. Now, what if you wanted to add an image dynamically, right? I'm gonna hit delete for this one and add images. So why don't we go ahead and go to stock.adobe.com, and I think I do have images here. So let me go ahead and find our images. Yeah, I do have some stock images right here, okay? So why don't we go ahead and add like images? So let's go to our sheets and make like a new sheet really quick. I'm gonna click on plus. And for images, the only difference here is that you have to use the @ symbol, which makes it a reference for InDesign. And then I'm gonna give these the names for the images that I have. Now these names are kind of cumbersome, so I'm just gonna call them one. And then I'm actually gonna bring this file here. Yeah, and then I'm just gonna call these, I'm just gonna rename these as this guy, and then I can just bring these in. Okay, so it's called one.jpg right here, and then I'm gonna paste it 5 6 times. Okay, and then I can just go in here and rename. I just want to show you how you can insert images into your InDesign document using DataMerge. All right, and the last thing we'll do is make like an invoicing template as well really quickly. So let's jump into that super quick. We have like 20 minutes left, so I think that's more than enough time now that you know that how DataMerge works. Okay, let's bring 6 into it. Wow, I'm just hitting escape key all the time. Just hitting the wrong key like 5 times, and everyone in chat is loving it. Ready, steady, very awesome, very cool. All right, so we have this, right? And then I'm just call it stock images right here. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna save it as a comma separated value. And the only difference, again, if you wanna add images, is the @ symbol. For our QR code, we use the hash or the pound symbol. And now I'm gonna go ahead. Maybe this is a lanyard design, so I'm gonna go ahead, give it a rectangular frame right here, and maybe make it slightly bigger, and I'm going to center it. Obviously these are not the right dimensions for a lanyard design. We would change these, and you can go ahead to your pages and use whatever you have. Maybe actually make it like an IG post, right? So I have this guy right here, and oh, that is tiny. Our business cards were tiny compared to our Instagram posts. I'm going to make this really big, okay, and then I'm going to center it. Now, you can use DataMerge again to insert images, and you can generate lanyard or photo IDs with a single click of a button. I'm going to hit select data source. Wait, did I download that? I did. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to hit this and select the file that we just created. I am selecting it from my download. It's called stockimages.sheet. I'm going to hit open, and this is what we have. This @ button clearly gave it that icon which tells InDesign that this is an image. But how do I add it? Again, inputting it is super easy. You just select this frame and attach it to this. And now it says images right over here, which is super tiny because that was what our column name was. But I'm going to hit preview. Again, are you ready? I'm going to hit preview. The data source references one or more missing images. You know why that is? Because I did not save the images in the same folder as my CSV file. So to fix that, I'm going to show you how this looks again, just to give you that preview about the error if you see it coming. The error says the data source references one or more missing images. The missing images cannot be previewed or merged. At the time you create a merge document, you can choose to generate a list of all missing. How do I find these images? You can either place these images in the same folder, that is your downloads folder, for letting it reference it, or you can place the the document in the folder as your images, or you can give it a path. Why don't we go ahead? I'm gonna drag it in. I have this, and I'm gonna call it in here, and this is where the CSV file is. This is where the images are, so I don't need to change how the CSV file looks. Had I had it in a different folder, I would just give it a path. So instead of writing one.jpg, I would just give it a path like lanyard slash one.jpg if lanyard was the folder name which had all my images, right? But since that is not the case, I'm going to go ahead and select preview again and see how that works, right? I'm going to go ahead and select the data source again. I'm going to click OK and select my data source, which is the one that I just replaced. So let me go ahead and select it. Where did I place it? Let's InDesign. We have episode 4, and then we have lanyard ID. So this is where my CSV file is, and this is also where my images are. So let's see if that eradicates our issue. I'm gonna hit preview and it should populate all the images. Now there you go. That's our image 1, image 2, 3, 4. That's amazing. These are all Adobe stock images, and I just created this with like a single sheet that was here, and that's it. That is it. That is literally it. And if I want to create a merge document again, I would click here and create a merge document right here. Leave the default settings as is. I don't want to change the overset text or images right here, but we have this. I'm going to change the display to a higher performance. I'm going to go here. Oh, it is higher. That is a bad. Oh, there you go. It just rendered. But that is what we have, and everything is on a different page, and I don't need to do anything else that we want, right? So I think this is amazing. With the last 15 minutes, why don't we jump into creating an invoicing template? Because that's what we are looking for. Okay, I'm going to don't save this, and then I'm going to create okay, and then I'm going to go to home. If you have any questions for me, make sure to pop them in the chat. I am happy to answer any or all questions I have for me. All right, let's go ahead and create something for web. Maybe this is a web version and I just send my invoices by email. So I'm going to create a web document which is going to set the color profile to RGB by default. We have this. I'm going to call it invoicing template, and then click OK. I don't want any, maybe I want like columns here. So I'm going to click OK and create. Right. So now I'm going to create something that's right here, and I want to create an invoicing template here as well. So before we actually dive into it, I want to get some data, which is our invoicing template data. And then I'm going to paste it here, and I'm going to delete these two guys. I'm going to call it invoicing data right here. And these are all the fields that we want in our document. So why don't we go to our InDesign document and create something? Actually, give me a second. I copy paste some information here. So where are we? Right here. All right. This is gonna just help me not use a lot of time we have. So I'm gonna hit close, and then I'm gonna bring it back. So have here, and then I'm gonna hit paste. So this is some information that we want on our invoice, and these are all the fields that we might want to add to our invoice, right? We want to tell people that this is an invoice. We want to tell you that this is our business name. This is who you bill to, and this is the address, the invoice number, and date. Why don't we add some formatting to it, and then we can add some data options to it. Of course, you can make it beautiful with all that you have in your head, but let's just go ahead and add like a rectangular frame on top. And this is how you can elevate your brand and your business. If you're a small business owner just getting started, you want to learn how to use InDesign to your advantage in the long run, I think this is the way to go. I'm going to use a fill color here and maybe make something like, maybe I'll just use green. Wow, that is not what I wanted. But let's go ahead and bring it like a beige color. And yeah, I think I really dig that. Okay, that is nice. That is nice. The legibility is nice. I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna make another one here, and I'm gonna make it here. And then I'm gonna change the color to the RGB red that we just changed, and that's it. Now, this is amazing because we already have I forgot to save. You already have like a layout, and we need that business name. I actually want to make this like a little towards the margin just because I want to add some spacing to it. We have the invoice date. I feel like this is looking very cohesive already, and I know Rob just joined us. Hey Rob, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining. We created these business cards right here, so you did not miss anything. I know all of the people who just joining us were probably thinking that we missed a lot. It was a power pack stream, but you can go back ahead and watch the replay. We created these business cards and added all of our friends' names from chat and all of the Adobe Live team. We have Cody Bear and Wade, and we have Tableside Guac in here, and we have Conti Crayon. So make sure to check the replay out. But right now we're creating an invoice template because I feel like all of us are freelancers, most of us are small business owners, so this is really helpful for you all. Now I did go ahead and created a sheet with like some dummy values. So we have invoice number, date, account number, bill to, Ivory Lane's address and contact. Now you would go ahead and populate your information here, but for time purposes, I'm gonna go back ahead to my video and get some information. Like I'm gonna pull off a Bob Ross right here. Fun fact about Bob Ross: Bob Ross actually painted his paintings twice. This is just Bob Ross trivia. He actually painted his paintings twice. One for testing it out, one during the live stream or the video recording, and one which is actually the final painting. But yeah, I'm just pulling off a Bob Ross or a Julia Child in here because you're talking cookbooks last time. But yeah, let's go in here, and this is all the information we want, and this is essentially where your itemized list of the work that you do will go. So you can go to your table and create a table in here as well. And I'm gonna hit just to show you how that looks. I'm gonna create a default basic table. You can also add table styles to it. So you can go to table style and set it up. This is essentially how you would insert a table into InDesign. I'm going to click OK, and then I can just drag it out. So this is how that looks. I'm going to hit W just to show you how that looks. And yeah, this is how your invoice is looking. Now, I don't like the styling for this table, but I can go ahead and change it anytime I want. But for now, this is how the invoice page looks. But we do want to add information to this, right? How do I do that? I did export this file as, actually I did not export it. So I'm going to go to download and create a comma separated value right here. It created this file, which is saved in my downloads folder. I go back to my InDesign and I select the data source we have. We select the data source right here. I'm going to go ahead and get it from my downloads. If I remember what it's called. It's probably called invoicing data. So really important, name your layers and your files and save your work. I did get the data. It's called invoicing data and sheet 1. Now you have all of this information right here, and I have the business name. I don't have it right in my sheet, so that's fine. But I do have bill to. Now I don't want to replace this text, but I want to hit it next to it. The first example we saw with business cards, I was replacing the text we had. So I'm going to actually hit Command B and go to my auto sizing and make it auto sizing again. I'm going to hit this guy. I'm going to do it for everything that we have. So we press Command B again, go to our text frame options, call it here, and right over here as well, we have auto size, height and width over here, and press Command B. I think this is going to look amazing. Wait for it. Click OK and press here as well. Okay. So it's essentially the same thing because I want it to look cohesive, and I want the left hand side to be the reference panel, reference point from where we add information. And then I'm going to hit enter or the return key just to see where it is. I'm actually going to go in here and show hidden characters so you can see what I pressed. So this is where I press the enter key, right? And we have this information here. I'm going to click on bill to right here, and this is where it's going to insert information and not replace it. So instead of replacing the information in comparison, you can actually add information here. And then we have the invoice date. I'm going to hit space bar, call it invoice date. We're going to call it date is also invoice date. It can be different. If it's today's date, invoice date can be different, but that's usually the same. And then I'm going to call it invoice number, and then I'm going to call it invoice number here, and that is all the information we have. We do have account number here. It is going to remain the same, but I'm going to hit account number just because we had it. We also have a contact thing, so I'm going to make a copy of this. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of this. I'm going to call it contact right here really quickly, and then I'm going to go ahead and delete this guy. Hit contact. All right, so now the same way that we created something here, which is all this information, I'm going to go in here and click on preview and see what we have. We automatically populated everything with our InDesign document. What? This is how you create an invoice template, and we learned so much today. I love that you all were here with me. Thank you so much for joining. That brings us to a close for today's stream. There was a lot to cover. We learned and contrasted methods on how to create something manually using the parent pages in InDesign and creating business cards with those. We use DataMerge to get our data from our spreadsheet and bring it into InDesign. create a merge document, create business cards for our Adobe Live team here, unsolicited business cards that I will probably send you all. We learned how you can use these for use cases within a design agency. If you have umbrella companies, or if you want to use this for lanyard designs, photo designs, invoicing, envelopes. If you send mailers, you're a small business owner and you have an online store, you want to generate a mailing address list and you want to make it not repetitive, just put it in a Google sheet, make a format within InDesign, and just populate using DataMerge. This is amazing. Thank you so much for being here. We also learned how to make an invoice. So if you have any questions for me, or if you have any suggestions for me, make sure to reach out to me on my Instagram or my website. I want to say thank you to all of you all who joined us in chat today. Thank you so much for Oliver, Umacon, Stony, Barbara, Susan, Caroline, Clever, Cody Bear, and Rob. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here, and I hope to see you next time. We are going to learn how to create a resume and see resume or a cover letter. We will refresh your resume. We'll give you tips and tricks on how to personalize it for your um, profession and show a little bit of your personality while doing so. All of this will be in InDesign, and I'll be sure to come up with some handy tips and tricks. But until then, thanks and bye for now. I hope you take care of yourself. Bye.